Hi, everybody. My name is Melanie Dizon. I'm the Director of Education at the Davis Phinney Foundation. And today I am here with Gaynor, who is part of our YOPD Council. And I'm excited. It's late where you are. It's like 9:30 or 10 or 10:30 or something. What is it?
It's 9:33, Mel.
9:33 p.m.
It's early for us insomniacs.
Yeah, right. I know. So we're going to be talking a little bit about what she's done and why she joined the council and all that kind of stuff. So Gaynor, first, can you just tell us a little bit about what it was like when you were diagnosed? Like, what was the process like? How old were you? Was it sort of an easy process? Did you accept it right away? That kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. I got diagnosed at 42. I probably had symptoms 3 or 4 years in advance of that. The process of getting diagnosed, I went to my GP, and actually he was edging towards retirement. So I think he'd seen it all before. So he knew fairly quickly that it was neurological, and he knew to refer me to the neurology department at the local hospital. But I mean, it still took 9 months of various scans before you finally got to, it's Parkinson's. You have Parkinson's, and those 3 words are not the 3 words anyone wants to hear. Rug gets pulled away, I think, at that point, and it's big gulp, and what do we do now? I came out about it quite swiftly, in that I was diagnosed. It was actually 8 years ago, last Saturday, just gone.
Wow.
I was diagnosed, so 3rd of October 2012, which just happened to be my best friend's birthday. So I didn't ring her that year, because you don't want and how are you? Well, interesting day. And yeah, so the GP first of all sort of tested my reflexes. Oh, it's far too good. That won't be Parkinson's.
For some of the things, a lot of people will come to us and say like, well, I had this and they thought it was this, they thought of this. What did they think it was for you?
Well, I thought I had a frozen shoulder. I thought it was stress. I was living with a friend who had terminal cancer. So, you would think it was stress really. And I was working an awful lot. I think I've always been a workaholic, less so now, I have to say, because I don't have the energy to be. But I think it was a diversion for me to just throw myself into work. And that just kind of piled on more stress. And I kind of think stress is the trigger. Mm-hmm. I think there may well be, genetic stuff. There may well be environmental stuff. But I think that thing that finally flicks you over the edge of the cliff is stress and trauma.
Mm-hmm. Right. So when you were initially diagnosed, did you find it difficult to connect with other people who also had Parkinson's that were your age? Like, what did you do to find a community, or did you even think about doing that in the beginning?
No, I found one person on Twitter, and I won't mention any names. Quite keen on the fact I was a PR girl, so he had a little bit of an agenda as well, so we had a mutual, there was sort of an agreement or whatever, so I could help him, and he was helpful because simply he'd walked that road already. I think probably 3 years beforehand, so he was 3 years in already by the time we met. But that was it, and at that point no one really called it young onset. I mean, on my diagnosis letter, it does, to its credit, or to the neurologist's credit, it says young onset on the diagnosis letter. But no one referred to it as if it was anything different. It was just, oh, you've got Parkinson's. Oh, but you're far too young. Every nurse that's prepping you for every test that you go through, oh, it won't be Parkinson's, dear. You're far too young. Mm. And no one ever feeds back to them and says, oh, by the way, it was.
Right.
It was. There might be less of saying that and a bit more, hedge your bets a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right.
So I don't know how long it was, but you eventually started to do something in the young onset space yourself. So can you tell us a little bit about Spotlight YOPD and how you got started doing it and what it is? And
Yeah, sure. I mean, it is a bona fide registered charity in the UK, registered in England and Wales. Wales is that little bit on the side of England, if anyone's not aware of that in the States. Um, Basically, I really tried to work with the major charity in the UK, and I just found them wanting. I was wanting more from them. They weren't apparently able to deliver, or at that point, certainly they weren't. I think they have, to their credit, I think they have improved a little as far as young onset is concerned, but we weren't their core market. So I thought, well, it's needed. We need to set up a charity dedicated to young onset. I guess I'll have to do it. So I did. And that was in January 2016.
Great. So what are things that you do? I mean, in a normal situation?
In a normal situation, yeah. I'm a PR girl. My background is in journalism, PR and marketing. And I guess we try and groovy up young onset a little bit. So it's not about just little old people sitting down doing sitting down exercises, you know, sit down ballet and what have you. Nothing wrong with that, but we have different stuff happening in our lives, and it just so happens to be a different condition or a different syndrome. And yeah, you know, we want to play with people our own age and identify with people our own age and have a conversation with someone that goes, my God, you get that too. Yeah, that's what I get. And you know what you could try? That sort of sharing of information. So we encourage that. I'm an advocate. I work with other charities too. I've been to the WPC. I've stick-on tattoos on people saying Parkinson's power or Parky power. I run around in t-shirts, I give speeches, I talk about women's issues, which no one wants to talk about, but I'm quite happy to talk about that gritty stuff. Yeah, that's what we do. I'm there, I think, pretty much at the end of the phone if someone is newly diagnosed or just having a bad time. And I'm not giving medical advice. I'm giving opinion, experience, and hopefully just lending an ear.
Yeah, well, that's super important, right? Sometimes people need
a lot, I think.
Yeah. So what made you want to join our YOPD council?
Oh, because I came across the Davis Phinney Foundation. I thought you were a really good match for Spotlight. You seemed young, groovy, interested, and you kind of got it. And that did it for me.
Good. Well, I mean, I love our monthly calls, and so does everybody else. So it's super fun, super fun.
And they're friends anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, right.
Everyone on that group, they're all really jolly, and you know, everyone's a little bit sort of tongue in cheek, and you've got to make it fun, Mel. You know, yeah. This is a pretty, you know, grotty hand to be dealt. You've got to have a little bit of a giggle as you go.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of giggles, what would you say are some of the silver linings of Parkinson's, and then some of the biggest challenges you faced?
The silver linings is you get the Parky perspective. Now that's not in any way of saying that this is a gift and what a joy it is, because it ain't either of those, unfortunately. But the perspective that you get when I probably diagnosed any chronic condition, but thankfully I've only got one to handle, and that's me done, if that's all right with everyone else. It gives you live life, you live it fully. You don't just exist, you seize opportunities. If you have a good day with energy, live it large. I think that's the Parky perspective. A friend of mine, we actually met in Portland, and she bought me some socks, which actually said, I won't beep out the bit. I'll just paraphrase. It actually said, I'm gonna carper the out of this DM. There you go. You get the gist of it.
Yeah. Nice.
Good beep.
What have been the biggest challenges you faced?
Money, other people's
That's
perception.
real too, right?
Yeah. Other people's perception of it. Really interesting conversation with a guy that I sort of knew vaguely. Oh, hello, how are you? This is an off license in a a wine shop or whatever. Oh, hi, how are you? I heard you weren't well. Oh no, I've got young onset Parkinson's. Oh, are you better now?
Oh no.
I said, well, no, not. I won't be better unless they find a cure. Well, I'm sure they will. Yes, okay, that's from your, huge knowledge bank of what exactly, very little.
Yeah.
So, stuff like that, you just kind of think, oh, really? Do I have to have this conversation? But, there's all kinds of chronic conditions, and I think ignorance is one of them.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It's probably just, don't know how to handle that one. Let's just go on the positive side. Everything's going to be great.
Exactly. Or cross the road. That's always a good one, isn't it? Cross the road or never talk to her again. That will sort the problem out. Yeah, I'm going to show her all the support I can.
Yeah. Oh. So we have, a lot of people that are tuning into the YOPD Council monthly webinars. We get a lot of emails from people, and when they are in their 40s and they are with a family, or they're at the peak of their career, or they've got kids at home and they're scared and they just don't know what to do, and in the future seems super scary and unknown, and everything that they sort of thought they were going to be able to do, they don't think they're going to be able to do anymore. What do you wish that everybody who is newly diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's knows? You can bring a prop. Don't panic. That's a great one.
Don't panic. For the first 5 years, if you get the drugs right, hopefully you won't really know a huge amount of difference. The worst day will have happened for you during that first 5 years, which is the 3 words, you have Parkinson's. Most people, I would say for the first 5 years, they can continue to work, usually. I mean, there's caveats all over that. Loads of caveats sprinkled everywhere. But, generally speaking, it's not as bleak as it first feels. Then you kind of, I think your perspective does change. So initially it's all about you. And then as you kind of progress with the condition, there's a bigger picture. Or there certainly is for me and for other people that I work with. And you just think, actually let's maybe look at preventing this for future generations and addressing what's happened before and, what has gone wrong. So let's not repeat the same patterns, but, let's find plug some of the gaps maybe.
Yeah, that's great advice. Don't
Leave
panic.
ripples.
What'd you say?
Leave ripples.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the fact that, all of the people on our council are doing so much to help other people. And, you got right in there and said, you know what, I wanted something that wasn't there, so I created it myself. And that gives you an outlet. It gives you a purpose. It gives you, something that you're really giving back to that community. So, anytime that you can do that is great, no matter what's going on in your life.
If it gave me an income, I'd be sorted.
Right? Yes. So, I mean, what do you do about, what are you doing about money, the concerns and the stress of that?
I'm pretty much being by my other half at the moment, and he's coping with it remarkably. But it's not ideal. There's a thing over here called PIP, which is personal independence payments, and they don't really understand young onset Parkinson's in particular. So, I mean, the way the questions are termed, can you walk a certain distance? One day I can, 1/2 an hour I can perhaps. And these symptoms are consistent and they're anything but.
Right. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Well, I know we're going to be talking a little bit about disability and insurance for our next session, and I know a lot of people are super interested in learning how to manage all of that stuff. So hopefully we'll have some answers.
In the UK, we are hugely fortunate in that we do have the NHS. So, you know, health insurance isn't a worry as far as it is in other countries. But, you know, you have to shop around. Well, even for free, you have to shop around. So the neurologist that I had, for example, she specialised in MS. I don't have MS. So, you know, getting advice from someone where I was sitting there and thinking, I think borderline, I may know more than you. And it kind of made me, you know, it was time to look for someone else. So I have someone else who I have to say is a fantastic neurologist. He's right up there. And I was, you know, you have to go and ask. That's what you know, do your research, ask the right questions, go find someone. Advocate, heal thyself.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Well, thank you, Gaynor, for joining us today. We're super glad to have you. People can find you at spotlightyopd.org. Is it .org? Yep, .org. We'll put that link down below as well. And please be sure to join us every third Thursday of the month for our YOPD Council. Thanks, Gaynor.
Thank you.